starts off pretty damn strong. There's a great opening titles of Victor Creed, aka Sabretooth, and Wolverine, whose real name is James Howland movie. The two of them they bond together. These two brothers bond together through fighting wars throughout history. And it was very interesting to see how they bonded through killing and violence. And Sabretooth, or Victor Creed in the movie, embraces this beast within him, whereas Wolverine tries to suppress it and wants to live more of a normal life. And the two of them join up with Weapon X along with other team members. You got Wade Wilson in there, William, Agent Zero, the Blob. I think Dominic Monaghan plays Bolt. He can control electrical things. Soon enough, Logan realizes that being Weapon X is not a good thing, that he didn't join up to kill innocent people. He turns his back on the team and his brother Creed, and this pisses off Victor so much that he wants to do anything to get back at Wolverine. The most interesting part of this movie is the relationship between Victor Creed and Wolverine. They both have conflicting interests, so anytime they meet, they're always fighting in fierce battles. I found that both actors, Liv Shabir, or Cotton as I like to call him, paid off well against Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But I did prefer Liv Shabir's Victor Creed over Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I found that Liv Shabir added this kind of very cold, hard bastard element to him that Tyler Mane didn't have in the first X-Men movie. And I just found Victor Creed an overall great bad guy, and he had some great scenes. There was a great scene between Victor Creed and Bolt in the caravan in the circus fair. That was probably my favourite scene in the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But that scene alone was the greatest scene, in my opinion. It was really creepy. He did such a good job playing the character. I really felt like this is Sabretooth. This is Sabretooth on screen. Whereas with Tyler Mane, I never really liked that Sabretooth too much, because Sabretooth came across as kind of like just really stupid and like an obedient dog. Whereas in Wolverine Origins, Sabretooth is more of kind of does what he wants and uses people to get what he wants. Because this is before X-Men 1, 2 and 3, some actors are replaced. Taking up the role of Stryker in this movie is Danny Huston, who did a great job. I still prefer Brian Cox's take on Stryker, but there's something that Danny Huston added to the character that I loved so much, was he added this polite creepiness to him. I kind of prefer that element to Brian Cox's version, but overall Brian Cox's version of Stryker was written much better acted. Who else? Taking over the role of Scott Summers was, I forget his name, Tim Pollock, I think his name is. Cyclops, the good thing is Cyclops does more in this movie than he did in X-Men 2 and 3, so that's always a good thing. That's a plus. It was nice to see Cyclops do something awesome for once, besides being a sidekick to Wolverine. Other characters like Gambit was treated with respect on screen. He did have the accent, he did have the powers. I really enjoyed what was on the screen of the character, and I'm surprised he did get as much screen time as he did with a title called Wolverine. Unfortunately, that's where the good things stop and the bad things about this movie begins. There was so many plot holes in this movie. I'm not the kind of guy that sits back and examines a movie like crazy when I see it the first time. I need to see it a few times before noticing little plot holes or little things that are out of place. But this movie had plot holes that stuck out like a sore thumb, and the main plot hole comes with a reveal at the end. I'm not going to spoil anything here for people. It was just so stupid. It made my head spin. I just rolled my eyes at the obvious plot holes in this movie. Some of them were just so ridiculous. The thing I hated about this movie the most was the fact that it ignored events from X-Men 1 and X-Men 2. I'll talk about the Weapon X experiment. In X-Men 2, we see Wolverine getting an experiment done. He kind of freaks out, jumps out of the kind of bat. He grabs people, throws them in. You know, he goes crazy, berserk, runs down a tunnelway. He stops, he has blades coming out of his hand, there's blood all over him, and he's screaming like crazy. X-Men Origins ignores that. The scene is replaced with Wolverine running naked across a field and into a barn, and across the way this old couple are looking at him and they're like, did I just see a naked guy run into our barn? So that kick-ass scene of the blood, the claws coming out, Wolverine screaming, is replaced with a comical scene. And also, there's no explanation as to why Victor Creed doesn't recognize Wolverine in X-Men 1. It is explained in this movie why Wolverine doesn't recognize it. Of course, he lost his memory, as we're told in the other X-Men films, but we don't know why Sabretooth doesn't recognize Wolverine. Let's get down to some serious business. Wade Wilson, Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds did a pretty damn good job with what he was offered, which wasn't much. I have so much respect for Ryan Reynolds because he has so much respect for the character Deadpool when he speaks of him. You can tell from interviews that he wants nothing but to do this character justice. And you could tell he was a little bummed out that he knew they screwed up. But Ryan Reynolds is saying he wants to do a spin-off and he wants to be in it. He wants it done 100%, breaking the fourth wall, comedy, pop culture references and all. Wade Wilson becomes Weapon 11's movie. There is no build-up to why Wade Wilson volunteered for the program. There's no build-up to the character Weapon 11 itself. The character was treated so badly in this movie. I hated it. It was the worst part of this movie. When the Weapon 11 scenes came up, I turned into a shivering wreck in my seat. It was probably worse than watching Dragon Ball Evolution. Before I give my overall verdict, I'd like to say thanks to Fox for putting multiple endings at the end of Wolverine. Different film reels will have different endings. I watched X-Men Origins. The credits came on. During the credits scene, an ending came up. I watched that ending, left the theater because everyone else left. The screen lights were turned on. Everyone started cleaning. So I kind of said, okay, that must be the secret ending I got. But then I go home and find out there was actually another ending after the credits. So there's an ending during the credits and after the credits, which is stupid. It's bullshit. This makes no sense. The traditional thing is just have one ending scene during or after the credits. Thanks, Fox. You guys are great. Thanks for confusing me. Overall, I give Wolverine Origins a 5 out of 10. I never thought I'd say this, but I preferred X-Men The Last Stand. Even though Last Stand had its weaknesses and plot holes itself, it was fun. This movie, kind of boring. If you're not a fan of Wolverine or the X-Men movies or superhero movies in general, definitely give this a skip. Check it out on DVD. I won't be checking this out on DVD. I'll probably never watch it again. And you know, I look forward to Transformers 2, Star Trek, Sherlock Holmes. So hopefully those movies will erase the bad taste this movie left in my mouth.